A very good afternoon to everybody. Welcome and hope you are enjoying being with us this afternoon. My name is Kerry Dupree and welcome to the Africam show brought to you by explore.org. We have started over at Meno Aquena with a lovely herd of elephant bulls that have come to join us this afternoon. Just a reminder, this is a live and interactive experience, so please feel free to send through your questions and comments. We've got some greetings from Canada, from Osanogo. It says greetings, Afrikaners from a very soggy BC, Canada. Oh my goodness, talking about soggy, we've had some incredible weather. Lots of rain. Parts of Kruger National Park have been closed down, and I believe parts of the park have been evacuated. We've had so much rain here. So also looking rather soggy here in South Africa. Jan Power 8952 says, hi everyone. Hope all are doing well. Yes, I hope everyone is having a fabulous Tuesday. So although parts of Kruger National Park, Zimbabwe, Mozambique as well, I believe, are having extremely heavy rains, here in Johannesburg, it is still looking very hot and sunny. And that's where I'm coming to you from today. We've got Jack. Jack says, good morning. Thank you for joining us, Jack. These elephant bulls are obviously having a nice afternoon drink, cooling themselves down, maybe after a hot day in the African bush. We've got Dean HNC says, good morning from Seattle, ready for the show with a hot cup of coffee. Ooh, hot cup of coffee. Dean. Yeah, I just had a nice cup of tea. Always great to have a good cup of tea, although I have been really enjoying iced tea on these very hot summer days. It's been quite warm the last few days with all the humidity around. The elephants also agree with me that the weather's been quite warm lately. Look at that head shake. Casper Third Ghost says, happy Tuesday, Kerry, and everyone ready with hot and your rain gear, ready to bumble through the cams. Oh, yes. Just dying to see what else is out here this week. Bridget McKinney says, hi, Kerry. Thank you for joining us. Apparently, you've got a river view from the Olifants River if you want to see the flooding. Yes, I believe if you go and have a look online, folks, there's a lot of views of the flooding. Check at that, folks. Wow. Oh my gosh. So obviously we do yeah. This is a crazy seasonal rainfall that's happening at the moment because of climate change. It does bring a lot of rain this year, but there is also a cyclone. Dikeledi is probably one of the causes of all this extreme rain. I've never seen the Olifants River so full like this. I was just watching earlier on Instagram, lots of videos being posted for the locations with incredible amount of rainfall. So please, folks, if you are in Hoedspruit area, please be careful. Watch out for the rain. You might as well buy a rubber ducky, some snorkeling gear, maybe a rain scuba suit, because my goodness, look at this water. There's some of the dams that I've seen the difference in some of these ancient riverways from the last few days. From the 9th of January, it was completely dry, some of these rivers through the Kruger, Limpopo, all these areas, and now just a few days later it is flooding. Some of these rivers have not seen this much rain in over 20 to 30 years. Isn't that incredible? My goodness. Shame, these poor hippos and crocodiles have probably been relocated and had to find some new temporary homes. We've got MG Leopard Spot says, greetings from Bay Area. Thanks for being here, Kerry. Thank you for joining us, MG Leopard Spots. It is awesome to be here. I was on live at the Waterhole all week last week, so we got to catch up on the cameras and see what was happening. So always lovely to see what's happening on the Africam cameras. Talking about what's been happening, some of my favorite kind of highlights from the last few days. We have had at some big news from the Endangered Species Center in Hoedspruit, talking about Hoedspruit. Those four little cheetah cubs, Tammy's cheetah cubs, have had their DNA test results done, and they've shown that they are two boys and two girls. So very exciting, lots of activity with Tammy the cheetah's little cubs there. So very exciting to see them in their new area that they're getting used to, and they are growing up super fast. Over in Lantore, there was an epic striped hyena sighting, or actually three striped hyenas interacting. So that was pretty epic. Talking about hippos, there was an interesting video of a hippo that Africam uploaded about 5 days ago of a hippo pulling his tongue out. I think he had a lazy tongue syndrome. So there's been lots of interesting activity across all of the locations the last week here on Africam. Gordon J is joining us. Gordon says, a good morning, Kerry, and fellow viewers. Thank you for joining us this morning, Gordon. April Owl is also sending through her comments saying, good morning, everyone. One, April Owl. So we're back here with our elephant bulls over at Meno Aquena. So I believe that Botswana has not yet received some of these floodings and extreme rain just yet, but Zimbabwe, parts of Zimbabwe and parts of Zambia might also experience some flooding. But for now, it looks like a lovely sunny day over in Botswana, and these elephants are just living their best life. Mindy says, nice to hear your voice again, Kerry. Mindy, it is always great to have you with us. Thank you for joining us today. Some other interesting updates from our locations. So we also had a pretty epic leopard sighting right in front of Wangi Safari Lodge over in Zimbabwe last week, which was also pretty cool. And shame, there was a wounded zebra over in Wangi Safari Lodge at the Pan. I think he probably got wounded in a fight with another male, and the lions then moved in. There's been 3 lionesses around Wangi Safari Lodge in that area, and they came in, and unfortunately they did kill that zebra. So there was lots of vulture activity. I think that was on Thursday we saw the wounded zebra, and on Friday, Thursday night, that's when the lions killed that zebra in front of the Safari Lodge, Wangi Safari Lodge, and we had lots of vulture activity on Friday on the African camera there. So that was pretty epic to see that activity. If you were watching on Thursday night, maybe you got some lion action. Look at these elephant bulls. I know with all this humidity around, it's been great to see all the elephants coming out and about. Mostly elephant bulls, very playful elephant bulls like these two here. So fascinating, the strong bonds that these elephant bulls form amongst these little bachelor groups. I heard some European bee-eaters calling just now. Probably lots of frogs around as well. If you were sitting in this hide watching these elephants, you'd have lots of frog activity. Imagine some bubbling cassinas, your eastern olive toads, maybe some grass frogs as well. All right, folks, why don't we head over to the Serengeti and see our little agama lizard is waiting for us. This guy, I think, is probably one of the most famous lizards that I know. We do see him quite frequently here at this location. So he's a rock agama, the red-headed rock agama, very commonly found in Kenya, Tanzania, but mostly in East Africa. This is a little male, quite a big male. The other day we had some action. There was an intruder, a younger male, that came into his territory, and he was not impressed. So there was a bit of fighting going on. These two males were fighting with each other. As you can see, this guy is quite a dominant bull, or dominant male, sorry, little male agama, because of his very vibrant, bright colors. So, of course, he was the victor, and he carries on his reign ruling this very comfortable little rock of his. So these males do have very bright colors, and that's to indicate that they're sexually mature and to attract the females. So MG, a leopard spot, says, I sure hope the baboons' favorite trees don't come down in the river at the Olifants. Yes, MG leopard spot. So it's not just us humans that need to take cover in all of this flooding weather. The baboons need to make sure their trees don't fall down. Obviously, with all of these rivers flooding that have not received much water or rainfall the last couple of years, often bank erosion can be quite a problem, and a lot of these big trees can fall into the banks. I mean, I've seen massive trees being washed over some of these bridges in Limpopo. So it's yeah, but don't worry, the baboons are pretty intelligent creatures, sometimes a little bit too intelligent. So they'll be just fine. Jack D says, just like Spider-Man. So yes, another nickname for this red-headed rock agama is the Spider-Man lizard. You can see where he gets that name from, with his red Spider-Man colors, red and blue, and then his head and underneath his throat, on his little throat pouch there, are quite brightly pink. So they do actually change with color. They do become a lot more red if they're hot, but also if they are maybe aggressive or agitated, frustrated, maybe by other males being in the area. It's kind of like a warning sign. So it's not this color, this bright color is not to indicate that they are toxic in any way. It's more of, just like with birds, to kind of indicate that they are, coming of age, sexually mature, and to impress the female. So it's not like in the plant kingdom or with fruits that are indicating a sign of poison or a sign of toxicity. It's more to indicate these few factors, so you have a better idea of these. If it's, is it male, is it female? Because the female red-headed rockagama is completely a different color. She's light brown in color. You would not even think they are the same species if you see them together. So have a look at these tiny little ear holes. So unlike us humans, these agamas don't have ears or earlobes. They have these tiny little ear openings on the sides of their heads here. Very interesting scaly skin. Mostly a diurnal species, these agamas. You can find them basking in the sun, getting up that vitamin D. And they use those nasty little claws and little talons of theirs for catching their prey. So they're mostly insectivorous. They'll feed on ants, termites, beetles, or any other little creepy, crawly critter that crosses their path. During the breeding season, females can lay anything between about 5 to 15 eggs in very sandy soil or just underneath a rock. I often see them when you're on a bushwalk, maybe you've stopped to have a bit of a water break, have a rest up on a rock. You often see these little eggs maybe hiding underneath the rocks there. You better be careful, little guy. So you see, he's very vigilant. He'll keep his eyes open because he could be quite a nice snack for any large birds of prey. Love to snack my little rock agama. Hey, little guy. He looks like he's having a pretty lazy Tuesday. It's quite a common little species, I must say. During my time at Nkewa, almost every little rocky outcrop you come across, you'll find a few of these little territorial male rock agamas. Alrighty, folks, why don't we head across to Wangi Safari Lodge and see what is waiting for us? We were just chatting about Wangi Safari Lodge and all the activity here last week. It seems like there are lots of predators around. This wildebeest, obviously probably a male wildebeest, just hanging around in these beautiful open grassland areas. It's nice open flay. So this flay in front of Wangi Safari Lodge, where this wildebeest is currently munching away, is known as the Dete Flay, very famous area in Zimbabwe. One of the coldest temperatures actually recorded in Zimbabwe was in this Dete Flay, minus 14 degrees. So if anyone ever told you that coming to Africa and going on safari in winter is you won't get cold, I'm sorry to break that bubble, but it does get rather cold in Africa. Predators have been around, so I hope that this wildebeest is very cautious and aware. Just listening, it sounds like could also be some European bee eaters flying around. Got lots of this crow's foot grass that is growing here and in these open areas. And then as you get into the thickets, you get a lot of the Panicum maximum up in those very big acacia woodland areas. So you've got a teak forest on the western side of this flay. And then on the eastern side of the Dete Flay, in front of Safari Lodge, right opposite the pan there, you've got some beautiful camel thorn trees where often you find marabou storks roosting up in those trees. I mean, during the green season, it's a perfect time here in Wangi to find lots of big herds of wildebeest. The zebra move through these areas. It's also common to find impala coming through to the pan, and then in the late afternoons you'll still see some elephants during this time of year. I mean, during the rainy season, a lot of our elephants in Wangi National Park kind of head westwards towards the Botswana border or Panamatenga Road, into these very remote areas with lots of food, and water is available in all the little puddles and pans that have filled up with the rains. So we don't see as many elephants during the rainy season here in front of Wangi Safari Lodge, but during the dry season, big herds come through. Seems like this wildebeest has got a very itchy head. Or he does not like that stick. Could be one of the two. I'm not too sure about that. So often these male wildebeest, in order to mark their territory, they have scent glands and they'll rub their heads against trees and bushes, sometimes completely destroying poor bushes in order to mark their territory. So Bridget is asking, Kerry, how long have you been guiding? So Bridget, actually this year is a very special year for me because in August of this year, 2026, I would have been guiding for 10 years. So very excited for that. And we've got another comment from MG Leopard Spot says, these shows are a highlight of my morning. It's just really special, MG Leopard Spots, to just sit and watch wildlife, isn't it? Always very special to have the access to these Africam cameras and see all the wildlife out there. I know during the rainy season it might be a little bit less active than in the dry season, but there's still so much action happening out there. So Zygot says, I can hear the bee eaters calling. So Zygot, I'll be quiet for a moment so you can listen to your European bee eaters calling. As our wildebeest marks his territory, putting his manly wildebeest cologne all over the place. So Karua says southern carmine bee eaters. So I think it's actually European bee eaters. Although this time of the year we do have some southern carmine bee eaters that can frequent these areas. Ooh, is that a lilac-breasted? Oh, no. So we've got looks like a white-browed sparrow weaver. I think that's in the bushes just above. Or it could be a lilac-breasted roller, maybe just in the bush to the left of the wildebeest. But yeah, the more common bee eater species during this season, it's the migratory season, so lots of migratory birds. I'm guessing those European bee eaters are coming down for a drink at the waterhole. But we do occasionally get a few carmines. Yeah, there we go. Nice little lilac-breasted roller. There's a bit of a white crest or color on his face can very easily confuse you with a white-browed sparrow weaver, which is also another common bird in this area. And I cannot mention Wangi without mentioning the incredible sable herds. So Wangi National Park is also famously known for the herds of sable. So there are herds of sable that do move around in this area. It's always lovely to see them coming through with some of the biggest male sable I think I've ever seen. Some of their horns are so long that they actually arch backwards and touch the tops of their shoulder blades. They need to be long to protect themselves against all these lions in the area. Hey, Mr. Voldy, where's the rest of your friends? Could just be a male on his own. Such a special place. So birding in Wangi during the rainy season is absolutely incredible. Not just your flying birds and your migratory species, but you also get lots of storks, ducks, pygmy geese come through. Birds. Some very naughty little baboons, either being disciplined by their parents or fighting with a sibling, I feel. Naughty little critters. So here around Wangi Safari Lodge are a few baboon roosting trees, and these baboons, yeesh, they cause havoc in these camps. My goodness. There must be a population just in this area around Wangi Safari Lodge. I'd easily say there's a population of close to 100 to over 100 plus baboons. I mean, there's about just around Wangi Safari Lodge, there's probably about 4 or 5 roosting trees. And in Inganyana Tented Camp is kind of just to the east of or down the Flay from Wangi Safari Lodge. And there's another 5 or 6 roosting trees there as well. So there is a very healthy population of baboons here in Wangi. As you can hear, they are getting up to mischief. Always a delight to see baboons while on safari, especially if you are having a quiet day and you haven't seen too much activity. You can sit and watch a troop of baboons for hours. They can keep you very entertained. Same with vervet monkeys, but I feel like baboons are definitely a lot more entertaining than vervet monkeys. I mean, vervet monkeys are cute if you see the little ones, but often the females will be a little bit more cautious with their little ones and keep them away from people, whereas baboons, they seem to just go about their devices. The females are not always as protective over their little ones around people, a little bit more comfortable. So yeah, you can definitely watch baboons and be fully entertained for hours on end. Oh, three-banded blood plover calling there. This pan has incredible bird life as well. Often black-winged stilts, your three-banded plovers, Egyptian geese, an array of different vultures, normally white-backed vultures, hooded vultures, And of course, we mentioned earlier your marabou storks. Ah, check at that beautiful camel thorn forest. Ah, and there's our baboons. Okay, so we've got quite a few more wildebeest here. Nice to see. Always good to see a few wildebeest. So it could be the rest of the herd. And our baboons are very mischievous baboons foraging through this open area. What time is it? It is almost 4:30. So normally around about 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock is when the baboons start coming in from their escapades or their endeavors, wherever they've been exploring throughout the day looking for food. They'll make their way closer to their roosting trees as sunset approaches. And then, as soon as it starts getting dark, that's when they move up into the trees in order to get away from the predators that might be down below. Here in this area, it doesn't matter what time it is, but if there's a leopard around or a lion, as I mentioned, because we have so many troops of baboons in this area, the baboons are always a great early warning system for us, letting us know there's a predator in the flay or that's just arrived. And then sometimes these baboons like to wake you up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning because somebody probably pooped on somebody else's head or somebody pushed someone out the tree and now the whole troop gets upset and now your day has started at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So great early bush alarm system, these baboons. Oh, what's happening there? See these females, both got little ones on the back and the belly. I find it's the teenagers that are the most mischievous. The sub-adults. Oh, so cute. You can tell that they are very young when they're very black and pink in color. Pink little faces, very black coat, probably less than a month old or just a few weeks old. You can still see this pink face of theirs. The Chakma baboons. Probably the more common baboon or primate in southern Africa. So most of our locations in southern Africa, the primates you would expect to see is the Chakma baboons and the vervet monkeys, or if you're very lucky, maybe a little night ape or a bush baby. As opposed to in Kenya and Serengeti, we have the olive baboons, which are a little bit smaller than the Chakma baboons, much more fur, so a lot more fur, which to me sometimes makes them look a lot larger in size. They're just moving through this area, foraging. So Dear HNC says, I agree. I love watching baboons, one of my favorites. So DAHNC, yes, it is always entertaining watching baboons. I much prefer seeing them when you're out on safari. I don't like it when they're around camp because then you have to watch that tea table or the breakfast buffet because they are very sharp, very intelligent. They love helping themselves to the guests' breakfast buffet. Look at that little one. I think he's suckling. Oh, there's that tiny baby here, folks. Look at those pink little ears. This baboon is probably less than maybe a week or 2 weeks old. Check at him. Very small. It takes some time for these little ones to kind of develop their muscles and their strength. Wow. Female is very unperturbed, sitting there feeding away. So this time of year, it's kind of the land of plenty for all the animals, all the creatures out in the bush. Baboons can feed on grass. So have a look. She's literally pulling up pieces of grass and feeding on the tips of the grass there. But warthogs will also be enjoying the grass seeds. It's a great time of year to feed on the grass seeds, so warthogs don't have to get down and dirty so much with putting their snouts in the sand and digging away in the mud for roots. It's so much food around. Look at all this grass. Some other birds we can listen out for here at this location are the magpie shrikes, and you also get your Meaves starlings. I think I heard a Meaves starling calling just now. As well as our baboons. Oh, impala. And then, of course, in the dry season, these baboons will seek for all of the pods that fall from the acacia trees, as well as our camel thorn trees. They get these incredible pods, the aerolobas, these huge lobed pods. Almost look like a giant rattle. Baboons, kudu, impala, nyala will all go and feed on those very nice protein-rich seed pods. It's a very good substitute for them during the dry season. Oh, we've got a comment here from Dark Main Lover. Says, I wonder what's the favorite human food that baboons really love the most. I'm not too sure, Dark Main Lover, but I can tell you that at most of the camps, baboons love sugar. They get so addicted to sugar. Well, I wouldn't say addicted, but they're always drawn. The tea coffee station, if they can grab that sugar bowl, oh goodness, I can't tell you how many sugar bowls I've found out in the bush. They're just too fast. They'll jump on and grab that sugar bowl. They're not too big fans of coffee, I wouldn't say. But yeah, if they can grab a few muffins, shove some muffins in their face. Yeah, so they do cause a bit of mayhem. So MG Leopard Spot says, Tau has not had that much rain yet. When is it that the area, or when is that area's wet season? So MG Leopard Spots, Tau has received a little bit of rain. I mean, I know it's not flooding, but it is looking semi-green. They've got lots of yellow daisies that are around at the moment. The whole bank on the other side of the pan. Ooh, talking about Tau. Have a look here. So I know it's not flooding like other parts of Limpopo and the Kruger National Park, but generally this area, because it's so close to Botswana, it is a little bit more of an arid region, but they have received a little bit of rainfall this year. As you can see, everything's come to life quite a bit. Impala are enjoying feeding on this lush green vegetation on the banks here. I mean, at the end of the dry season last year, this area around this pan at Tau, it's crazy how there's almost not even a blade of grass. It's just rocks and sand. So it does look quite different to when it was in the dry season. I'm very grateful for the animals out in the bush, that they are all enjoying the nice rainy season and all these rains. Oh, we've got some zebra as well. And talking about Tau, folks, I have a Africam record that I broke last week. So one of my records before was for the most animals at a waterhole at the same time. And Aldonio has always taken the cake for me. We've had about I've had 7 species there at the same time. But last week here at Tau, we had 8 different species at this waterhole at the same time. And that's not including elephants. So I was pretty impressed. Tau is attracting a lot of wildlife. Mindy says, while I was in Kenya, a baboon snuck into an open window of one of my travel mates' rooms and stole a handful of sugar packets. Oh, Mindy, yeah, like I told you, those baboons, vervet monkeys, and squirrels, they know the amenity bars and the rooms, I tell you. They know that the sugar is good stuff. But yeah, it's why it's always good when you have around the camps just someone to watch out for the baboons, keep them out of the rooms. Sugar is not great for baboons, so yeah, try and keep them away from that stuff. Terrible stuff, sugar. Oh, what is this nice big male impala here? Have a look. So we're still in January. So by about April, May, these male impalas will start their rutting season. Time of the year that it is sometimes a little bit unbearable to be in the bush. These male impalas making this terrible raucous sound. Also got a waterbuck, female waterbuck. I feel like these waterbuck are mostly resident in this area. Some folks on safari also enjoying this incredible view with us. Yeah, we do see these waterbuck at this waterhole most of the time. I feel like they don't need to go very far. They've got their water and food are all in the same place. It's very special to have them around. Hey guys. Haven't seen too much of the crocodile action lately here at Tau. It's been a bit quiet. But again, there's so much reeds and vegetation. It is difficult to see those crocodiles. What else is out there? Lots of tiny little baby impala. They'll form these little nursery groups. It's very special. Little impala play groups during the day. Keep them entertained away from the females. Give the mothers a bit of a break. Oh. Male impala's already starting his nonsense, chasing the females around. Haven't seen a cheetah here at Tau before. I'd love to see the cheetah. I know there are some cheetah that kind of frequent this pan. I think I've seen lions here once before. It was awesome to see those cats out and about. Talking about predators, it was also, oh, what's happening here? There's been lots of predator action this rainy season across the cameras, which is always great to see, especially in the dry season. Wow, look at that, folks. Isn't that beautiful? Seeing Tau so lovely, lush, and green. Let's see why it is difficult to find those crocodiles. These little reed banks are taking over quite a bit. I'm sure they are still there. No elephants this afternoon, maybe later in the evening. Some elephants might come through. We had a nice elephant pool party. Oh, there we go. Wow, there is an elephant. And he looks like he's coming to have a bit of a mud bath. We had a nice big breeding herd of elephants coming down to the pan must have been last week, Tuesday. Oh, it was great. There must have been at least 15, 16 elephants all coming down to cool off after a hot day under the African sun. How special. You can see this bull's got two different shaped tusks. His left tusk is quite long compared to his right. He looks like he's ready for a drink. And it looks like it is quite a warm day over in Madikwe. No better place for a big elephant to be than near a pan cooling himself off. I love watching the baby elephants splashing in the water and flopping all over the place. It's just the cutest thing. Also got some male impala. It's often a big bachelor herd of male impala at this pan as well. Always delightful to see. All right, folks, shall we head across to a Founder's Lodge and see what large creature is waiting for us in the Eastern Cape? Oh, look here. We have a big rhino. He looks rather snoozy on this Tuesday afternoon. So again, Founders, I feel like the weather's been pretty standard at Founders or in the Eastern Cape the last couple of weeks. Quite cold, windy, cold weather, but not too much rain. I've seen a few of these rhino pool parties over the last couple of weeks. Rhinos all coming down to cool off in the mud. We had the sable briefly come and visit us last week as well at the pan, which was always cool to see. It was only my second time ever seeing the sable on Africam. So great to see the sable coming through. I feel like this rhino is deciding, he's contemplating life. Am I hot enough to go and lie in the mud, or should I go and lie under the tree? See him rotating his ears there back and forth, listening to what's happening around him. Got a very keen sense of hearing, rhinos. They use their ears like little satellite dishes to hear all the movement around them. Sort of compensates for their very poor sense of sight. As you can see here, this rhino does have a collar on him, and these rhinos are very closely tracked and monitored for their safety. It's great to see that the rhino poaching statistics are sort of improving. So the rhinos are not being as poached as they were, for example, in 2011, 2012. So it's always a great sign. All those anti-poaching units out there working day and night to protect these incredible creatures. Hello, big boy. Mindy says the coloration at this location is astounding. Yes, Mindy, obviously the soil is very red, probably because of the red oxide in the ground. Yeah, very, very special. And obviously with that deep red color, it also makes the rhinos and warthogs very red too, once they go and wallow in this very red soil. Oh, maybe we're gonna see him have a drink, or maybe he'll come and have a bit of a mud bath, mud wallow for us. The white rhinos, they spend a lot more of their day resting, as opposed to black rhino that do move around quite a lot. They're a lot more active. Darkmane Lover says, what a magnificent rhino. Yes, Darkmane Lover, this is quite an impressive big boy. It's interesting in rhinos, you often see a lot of the females have longer. The male's horns might be thicker and more stubby, but I've seen female white rhinos with much longer and thinner horns than that of the males. Possibly for protection purposes, to protect their little ones. And this rock just behind this rhino here is that perfect spot. I've seen quite a few of these rhinos at founders at this pan here. Often go and rub and sharpen their horns up on that rock there. Good for the big males to sharpen the horns, also for fighting purposes. You can get quite nasty injuries from those horns when fighting with one another. Hey, see all the scratches down his side from running through the bush. Look at those toes. Alrighty, folks, just want to say a big thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a fabulous week.